Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Race Spec Season 8 action. This time we are at the Spanish GP. This time at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for 33 laps around this 4.67 kilometre circuit, and we're just loading into the session right now. 16 turns, 2 DRS zones, so looking forward to a very interesting race tonight. Tight technical circuit, but you've got the long front straight which is overtaking, and with the modifications on this game, you've got the different turn 10, not as sharp of a hairpin, longer sweeping corner, which may make overtaking a little bit more interesting through that corner. So as we wait for the final couple of guys to load in. But just to run through the results from last round, Dutchy won our first race of the season at Brazil. Prezzo P2, and Davis, he actually jumps up to P3 because we had one incident report that the stewards had to have a look at, which was that contact between Banana and Huey that we saw last week. Banana did get a 5-second time penalty with 1 license point, but being that we had the safety car late, Banana actually dropped 7 positions, so that hurt him massively. He drops down to P10, which did promote Davis up into P3, so awesome. Still an awesome drive by Davis, unlucky for Banana, and then Huey, as we all know, was pretty much dominant that race, but just the wrong call, staying on those hards when the soft tyre runners just were able to get past him, and just that contact sent him down the field. But seeing that the pace he had last week won't be too much of a surprise if we see him right up the front. But we got all 20 drivers in, which is very good to see, as our first lot of cars go out on track. So it'll be interesting if any of the drivers are watching, if we have a dry race, or maybe we have a little bit of mixed conditions. As we have Steely in the Alfa Romeo out first on track. Championship standings, as we're watching these outlaps, Dutchy, obviously with only 1 round in, currently leading it by 7 points over Prezzo. Constructor standings, McLaren actually has a 5-point lead. So Davis, who did get promoted to 3rd, and Roscoe promoted up to 5th. They were the best tandem last week, so they got a 5-point lead over Aston Martin, with Dutchy obviously scoring all 30 points, and Mercedes AMG currently 3rd on 24 points, with Aussie scoring 17 and Phrygian scoring 7. So as we watch Steely come around that, as aforementioned, turn 10, so the new design, as we're watching over his right shoulder as he's just about to come through to start his hot lap. I reckon we'll go on board and watch him do a flyer of this 4.6 kilometre circuit. So he wants a nice clean exit out of the final corner to activate DRS now, and you've got the long run down to the first corner. Taking as much curve as he can to open up the exit. Didn't quite hit the apex. Want a nice exit through turn 2, and then the long sweeping right-hander, and he has a bit of a spin, and he's around. So that can definitely catch a lot of drivers out, especially in the race on heavy fuel or some worn tyres, but he should be able to straighten up. We'll just have to wait for the track to clear. So we'll get that info up for everybody else to see, and he's got a long time to wait to sort of make sure he can rejoin safely. And he does find the gap, but yeah, as you can sort of see, turn 3, if you don't quite have your line right, it can be easy to lose the back end there. So luckily enough, he hasn't used too much Harris, but so he'll be able to go for another run. He'll just have to be careful of the cars behind if they are on flyers. So I think we did have, yeah, we had Banana Cake Pie, the first man. He's just starting his flyer. What about Lightning? He's coming around. He's about to set the first lap. and he goes into the 17s on the 17.6. As I think the Haas driver clean break, about 8/10 off that. And as we see a lot of these guys, the times will just start flowing in. Lightning and Buster, they jump on the front row early on. As we'll just see who's around towards the back. Davis getting promoted to that P3 and actually moves into third position. So a lot of drivers just about to complete their final run. Oh, Dutchy. He was good, but he got a 5-second penalty, 5-place grid penalty, unfortunately, with clean break. So, interesting whether that was clean break had just finished his lap and Dutchy was on his lap. So, yeah, it might have been the case where the wrong car got the 5-place grid penalty. Unfortunately, Dutchy, if he does get pole, the best he can only start is 6, so he won't be happy about that. As you can see, the amount of traffic that you've got on the back straight, 5 cars. Even though this is a 4.5 kilometre circuit, it can get pretty tight, being that the lap time's only 1:16 to 1:18 around here. And that's a complete cut of the final part of the lap, so I reckon he'd be pretty frustrated as he full speeds in. So, as I said, not much that he can do about it now. And we've still got a long race ahead of us after quali, so he should be right. We'll go on board with Steely, as we saw him have a bit of a moment through turn 3 the first time around, so he's managed to come around for the rest of his lap. So there for a Mario driver, what can he do for his first flyer? There's a 19.7. Obviously, he would have had an extra lap on those set of softs, and shouldn't have burned them up too much with the second warm-up lap. As we've got 6 drivers still yet to come out and set a time. As a lot of these drivers will come back in, but Lightning setting the early pace at the moment. So, and as we know, Huey currently 14th. That might have been a bit of a mistake on his first one, but we know that he got pole last week. Prezzo got P2. Lightning, he got P3, so quali form's pretty good for the Ferrari driver. As he comes in, so just waiting for a few of these guys. Twitchley will be in this lap because he's out of fuel. The Banana currently on an 18.2. So currently 5 drivers in the 17s at the moment. So I reckon we'll see a low 17. I'd say low 17, but Huey's just set a 16.8. So that form that he showed last week, he's still got it. And he's got the gap to 6.5 tenths. Sorry, 7.5 tenths. So that's how much pace Huey has. So nice lap, but that's going to be a real tough time to beat for anybody else. So we may already have our pole sitter with still 10.5 minutes left to go. As Banana's possibly going on another fly, but I don't think he'd like to with the RS. We'll actually watch Prezzo. P2 last time out at Brazil. So we'll follow him through on his lap. So we'll continue the hot lap from before, around turn 3. Manages it right. So up to turn 4, trying to take all the curves to the left. Trying to get it inward apex, running it out wide, trying to carry as much speed through the corner as he can. Around turn 5. Again, don't want to go too wide off the exit. And then around 6, and then the tough 7-8. As you can see, the yellow sausage curve on the outside, so if you go too far, easily unsettle the car and can spin you around. And then the tough turn 9, too much curve on the inside, or the 4, running too wide, will possibly unsettle the car and spin you around the newly turn 10, and he's had a spin and he's in the wall. So that's a front wing change, so Perez is going to have to come back into the pits. Thankfully he's still got a bit of time. So just on the exit of 10 as well. So as we know, Spain's just a tricky circuit on just trying to maximise the speed and get in the exits. So 9 coming onto the back straight, and then 10 with the new layout. So we'll see him back in. Region Sean, he's on his next lap. So I want to make sure that he gets his lap right. He manages turn 10 nicely around turn 11, and then the sweeping turn 12, easy to lose it if you take too much curve on the inside, around 13. And then the tight final chicane of 14 and 15. Need to nail the exit to carry speed through the final corner of 16. You can take some curb on the exit to just carry the speed, and he jumps up into 7th on a 17.8. So not a bad first run for him. As we've got Roscoe currently in 15th at the moment. I think he is coming in. What about the other Ferrari? Reshing. He is burning, so we'll follow him through as Aussie's retired, and he's retired at the final corner. So we'll go on board with Steely. So how has he done that? Oh, he's had a moment. So losing it out of the chicane and then hitting the inside wall, and that's ripped the tyre off. So Aussie will only be starting 17th at very best. And if I look at Aussie, he did qualify 15th and managed to go up 11 places up to 4th. So he has come from the back before, but this does hurt him. As we'll quickly jump back to Reshing. As he comes across the line, doesn't improve, was about a 10th down on his lap, so maybe another little mistake. Steely does set a purple sector 1. That's through 6, and then 7 and 8. So takes a nice line through there. You just want to be smooth through there, not unsettle the car, but there's a lot of time you can gain through there. And then turn 9 navigates nicely, activates the second DRS, and then around turn 10, what does he do? He hugs it and then goes super wide on the exit, trying to carry the speed through 11 and now 12. About middle of the track there, as the car just getting out of the way through 13. Don't want to take these curbs too aggressively, can unsettle the car and just struggle to get the throttle out, but he navigates that nicely. Bit of DRS at the end. He does improve, but not enough, so he remains 18th. As the Haas getting a nice bit of slipstream. Who's that? That wasn't Frezzo, as Dada. He goes on a 16.8 too. So the Aston Martin driver. So that's a really nice lap from him. So Huey, but we go on board with Huey, and he's one just over a 10th up. Oh, bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 10 as he comes through the technical final sector. A lot of these drivers will be running a fair bit of downforce on their cars. As he comes across the line, can he better? He does. So he takes that pole position spot right back. So he's into the 16.7s now. As Jimson currently 3rd place for the Red Bull driver up there. Dutchy P4, but remember he's got the 5th place grid drop, which will drop him down to 9th currently. Lightning is coming in. So 5 minutes to go. We've got an Alfa Romeo on the front row, along with the Aston Martin of Dada. Nice clean break just at a time. I think that moved him up into P7, 17.6. Frezzo going again. No, he'll be into the pits. He's got no ARS to use. Masticles and Clunky Boy. We saw these guys have pace last week, but they just sort of fell off and had a few incidents, so Wasn't the best race for both AlphaTauri, so they'll be looking to bounce back as well. I think Roscoe is on his second lap. This may be his final run in terms of time too, so we'll stick on board with the McLaren driver. So P5 last week out, so I'll be fairly content with that. Qualified from my record at P12, so we're hoping to get a little bit further up today, but with how competitive this field is, it's very tough as he goes probably a little bit wider than what he would have wanted through 10, but takes a nice line through there using as much of the exit curve of 12 as he can. And I think he's aborted that lap he has as he comes in. So, as all the drivers come in for their final runs, Buster, he's got full ARS, so he'll be starting his final run. As the flashing light goes off, so he's turned hot light back on. So Buster, this will be his final run, currently P9. So it's looking good for the Williams driver, and he's going to have a whole lot of clear track ahead of him. So we'll watch this lap unfold. Nice line through 1 and 2, taking as much exit as he could out of there, and then turn 3, using all the road. Now around turn 4. Nice line through there, short shift to 5. And around 6. Want to get the drive out of the corner, use a little bit of the exit curve. Through 6, now the twisty 7 and 8. Oh, he had a bit of moment as he spun. So he'll be able to recover. He'll just have to be mindful of the 2 cars behind him. If he can save a bit of ERS, he can go for his final run because he won't have time to come back into pit lane. So he'll take it a bit easier as I think we've got, yes, Steve Boss Zach is about to start his lap. Unfortunately had a disconnect early on in the session last week, so we didn't actually get to see much from him. So he'll be looking to get right up there. He qualified 13th last week. As he starts his final run with a minute 40 to go. As you see, all the guys pretty much out. We've only got 2 guys in the pit lane at the moment. As we look on the side cam around turn 3 now. As he is up by a 10th and a half. So currently on the 17.7. As we go to turn 5, nice line through there. Through 6 and now 7 and 8. As we saw Bust have a bit of a spin about a minute ago, but it manages to navigate that properly. And he take as much of the exit curve out of 9 as he can. Activate his second bit of DRS. He did lose a little bit of time in that middle sector though. He's only up by less than a 10th. We'll still move him up 1 spot, but he'll want to hope that he can fight a bit more time through the last sector. As he's got a long line of traffic ahead of him, this might hurt him. The McLaren nicely gets out of the way. Same as the Alfa Romeo in the background. The Haas gets out of the way as well, but that will hurt his final run down this long straight. Does that hurt Zach? No, he manages to find 4 tenths. So moves him up into the top 6. So he would have known he had a lot of time in the last sector, and luckily enough, all those cars got out of the way. So nice lap by the Red Bull driver. He'll be happy to start closer to his teammate Jimson, currently P3, as a lot of these guys will be on their final runs. I reckon we'll follow the Aston Martin of Data. Buster, he crosses the line, stays where he is, so does Banana. Reshing goes up in P15. But this is man that we're watching at the moment. He's only just over a 10th behind. Probably had a little bit of a moment on that sausage curb. As he activates DRS out of... No, he's backed off. Yeah, he has just had that moment through there. Probably lost a little bit too much time. So, and Huey, he has lost his wing too. So he's had a moment out of 4, I'd imagine. As a lot of these cars just trying to get out of the way. So top 2 aren't improving, but I think they've got enough of a gap. What about Lightning? He was the other one getting out of the way, so he's done. Zach is done as well. Prezzo only manages P7 after qualifying on the front row last week. Clean break stays 10th. What about Jeff? He's invalidated. And Masticles, he's invalidated as well. So Huey, for the second week in a row, will get pole position. And it was close to Huey and Dada. The only 2 in the 16s. But Aston Martin, 2nd and 3rd, really good from the Green Machine car. However, Dutchy, he's got a 5-place grid penalty, remember. So he'll be starting from P8. So that will jump Gibson and Lightning to the 2nd row of the grid. So we know Dutchy's race pace last week was really impressive and made the right strategy calls. So he's not out of it. But we got the Alfa Romeo on pole for the second week in a row. A few instances in that quali session, so with the heavy fuel at the start of the race, we may see a bit of action, especially into turn 1, where we may see 2 or even 3 wide. But Huey, he gets pole. Dada, Dutchy, Jimson, Lightning, Zach, Roscoe he manages to jump up into 7th, so nice lap from him, jumps his teammate. Prezzo 8th, Davis 9th, and clean break in the Haas rounds out the top 10, so McLaren and Haas. Good job from them to get both cars into the top 10. Jeff is 11th, Buster 12th, Twitzlity 13th, Clunky Boy 14th, Region Sean 15th, Banana 16th, Masticles 17th, Reshing 18th, Steely 19th, and Aussie will be the final car on the grid, unfortunately, after his early DNF in quali. But as we saw last week, he can fight through this field, and Spain can be a difficult track, especially with worn tyres, and it's also strategy dependent as well. Who will start on the medium tyres, who will start on the hards. We do have a clear day for the race session. So unless there's a big weather change towards the end, we'll be dry the entire time. Obviously, safety cars can be a big issue around here, especially with the wall so close. Coming out of the second corner, turn 9, we saw Prezzo hit the wall off the exit of 10. So multiple places that we can have a DNF, and obviously the second last corner out of the chicane, as we saw Aussie DNF. So as we wait for the guys to get their fuel loads sorted, figure out which strategy they're going on. And I see a yellow... Is that a yellow rim? Yes, it is on Huey. Have a look at tyres. Huey's gone mediums, Dada's gone hards. And as you can see down the field, we've got a huge mixture of strategies throughout the field. Banana, he's going to go aggressive on the soft tyre. He wants to move up places at the start. But out of the top 5, you've got Zach and Dada. They're going to go long. But will this hurt them down the long run down to turn 1? And can Jimson and Lightning jump him and then maybe have a crack at Huey? But last time out we saw Huey take a great start. So if we can have that again, he'll be leading by the time we get to start of lap 2. As we'll just turn everything on. So Huey, can he make up for the mistake of last week? Can Dada get his first win of the season? So it'll be interesting to see how these drivers go. Obviously, Data a reserve, Reshing a reserve as well. So they're the two reserves at the moment, but Data putting an excellent quality session in for the Aston Martin team. Looking possibly, if he does have the time, to try and earn a full-time seat perhaps later on. This is a good chance to earn it. So looking at tyres here, mediums can go around 14 laps as there's a Haas in the wall. So I think that's Prezzo, so not the first time he's hit concrete, so fingers crossed that he can keep it clean during the race. But as I was mentioning, mediums around 14 laps, hards can go about 19 laps to 20 laps. Soft tyres, you at max are going to go about 8 laps, and that's another Haas. So the Haas having a little bit difficulty on the formation lap. As we've got a few drivers just cutting the grid line. But we've got 5 lights, and we're underway. Quickly go on board with Huey, if it gives me a nice camera angle. Aston Martin slips right into the back as we've got yellow flags already. Masticle's already a 5-second penalty, so there was contact off the start. But Huey, Data, Gibson, Lightning stays the same. Prezzo manages to jump 2 spots on those medium tyres. So Zach Davis and Roscoe Arm, they struggled just with the warm-up on the hards as we go side by side with the Haas and the Red Bull. So Prezzo, he's jumped even more spots. So he's got a flyer of a start. Oh, and there's contact between the Red Bull and the Ferrari, so that will drop them back down the field. As we got 2, nearly 3 wide at the back. So can these guys sort themselves out? They managed to do so. So a bit of a chaotic start, but Huey, the man leading again, as I think that's a Haas thinking about the move on the inside of Twitch. Liddy can't quite get it done. As we've got the Williams right behind the Alpine. Banana looking for a move on those soft tyres. As Huey sets a fastest lap, or Twitchley's had it off. Oh, he's had it off. He's made a mistake, and that's got to open the door up for Buster, which has already got past. What about Aussie? Will he make it possibly 3 wide? If it stays off that corner, or that camera shot, I should say. All right, so they've managed to sort themselves out. So Buster, Aussie does get the move done. So Twitchley just struggling in the opening lap, and Steely, you'd want to get the move done on the outpeat before he finds his rhythm again. Masticle's obviously the 5-second penalty, so he'll have to serve that in his first pit stop. So Banana up into P9 on those soft tyres. And he's hurrying Jeff along through turn 9, using a lot of battery. Will he send the move down at 10? He does. The dive bomb over the shoulder, a little bit of contact. Jeff still on the outside, which will turn to the inside. Jeff sticks his nose in there, let him know, but Banana with the better traction comes out. So Banana, a nice move through turn 10, so he gets the business. He moves up to P8, so he's got the 2 McLaren boys ahead of him. As Huey sets the fastest lap, 20.6, and he's using those medium tyres to great effect. He's gapped Data by 2 seconds, and now the Aston Martin will create a little bit of a train behind him with 3 medium runners wanting to get past him as soon as he can, so Huey doesn't get away from him. As Jeff loses another spot, and there's contact between the Mercedes, and that's hurt Clean Break. Nothing Clean Break could do. The contact half spun the cars. They didn't ghost in time, and that forces the Haas driver down the field, which has caused there's a bit of a dive bomb with Buster. Gets the move done. Will the AlphaTauri of Masticles go back on the inside? Not quite. But yeah, the contact between Jeff and Sean left Clean Break nowhere to go. So unfortunately, he's back down. These two still going. Jeff maintains the spot. And I'm wondering if that Mercedes possibly may have a bit of wing damage. As we got a yellow flag. and that is Twitch. So just hasn't been able to find his rhythm, and he's had a spin at the exit of 8. So Banana, as there's more contact, that's Buster around. As I quickly look at Zach and Cleanbag break battling, but Buster, he's had a spin, so he's dropped multiple positions as well. So DRS is activated now. So do any of the guys go for a move? Roscoe just sitting behind his teammate. Will we see a bit of team orders, or are they happy to sit where they are? Maybe Davis will help Roscoe defend from Banana. Just wait till those soft tyres really drop off. But back out with the lead, Huey 2.4. The hard tyres should be getting up to temperature about now, so they'll be nicer to drive. But I'll quickly jump back down to this battle as Lightning goes up the inside of Aussie. Still side by side out of 5. Lightning will have the inside, and it's a tight turn 7 here. Oh, the Mercedes tried to hang it around, but couldn't, just with how the chicane works, so he'll sit behind. So Lightning gets the move done, and he's up into 13th, but Aussie will have it back, go back at him at turn 10. Lightning goes a little bit wider to defend, and will have the better exit, and still he's around. So unfortunately that's another couple of spots for him, so he'll be right near the back of the pack. As we'll quickly switch back up to Banana, because I think he's going to have a go at Roscoe, but Roscoe's got to have a go at Davis. So it might be team play here. We've got a spinner at the back. Does Banana send it? No, he doesn't. He just sits behind. Roscoe having the better pace of the two McLarens at the moment. Clean break is in the pits as Zach and Buster switch positions. So Zach up into P14 on the harder tyre, but Buster on the medium tyres will have a bit of a fight back. Zach's flashing, so he's used a lot of ERS. As we know, he had his spin the first lap. So Buster will just sit behind at the moment. The two Ferraris now. So Lightning behind his teammate, Reshing obviously the reserve for today. So I wonder if there will be a bit of team orders, or will Reshing as the reserve try and possibly hold him up. Obviously in a bit of a DRS train at the moment. As yellow flag, that is clean break. He's come in on those new mediums, cold mediums, and he's just had a spin at turn 3, unfortunately. So the Ferrari's line in turn. Banana still hounding both McLarens, but I think Roscoe, I don't know, did Davis get DRS? He did. Oh, and I think there was more contact. Either Lightning lost it on his own, or there was contact with Aussie. Oh, and that's Clunky Boy. I think maybe the Ghost put him off, but he's in the gravel as well. And I think we've lost another Haas. I think Prezzo, he's had a spin at turn 3. So both Haas's gone around at turn 3 in the last 45 seconds. So that's dropped him out of the top 3 position, back into P8 and behind the soft runner of Banana. Dutchy, meanwhile, he's clawed all his places back from the 5-place grid penalty that he had. As I'll quickly switch to positions gained, because there's been a lot happening. Dutchy, as we said, moved up the 5 places that he lost. Roscoe and Davis have moved up positions. Banana on those soft tyres, he's been able to navigate the field and moved up 9 places. So he'll probably go the soft hard, as Jimson, I think, unfortunately, so he left the session again. He's ghosting. I think he has. So hopefully his invite can get him back. Unfortunately, I can't invite people with the crossplay system. But Roscoe moves up into P4. So this will be an easy-ish move for Davis. The Ghost car will still have DRS. Banana in 7th, maybe those soft tyres starting to die. So Prezzo will think about a move in the next lap or so. Yeah, Prezzo more confident on his mediums at the moment. But Bananas, he's moved up a lot of positions, so he's got a big advantage on those tyres. Prezzo had a bit of a sneaky, nearly runs up the back, got to be a little bit careful. So he'll just tuck in for the time being. Lead at the front, 2.8 seconds. So, and that's a Mercedes off. Oh, and he's out. So how has he done that? Oh, was that a retirement on track? I'm just wondering, because it didn't look like he hit the wall. Yeah, that's a retirement on track, because that Mercedes is moving. So that's a big no-no. Luckily enough, ghosting is on, but the problem is the ghost car has just taken out all the braking boards at turn 4 on the left-hand side. So, yeah, a few of these drivers won't be happy about that. Dutchy, he sets the fastest lap. Meanwhile, back to the action, and we got the two teammates battling. Obviously, Reserve, and I think Dada, being the good team player, lets Dutchy through. And it's worthwhile these two not fighting. Dada knows he's going long, so his race is at the back end. Let Dutchy through, maybe try and get to Huey and hold him up. As Reshing gets the move on Masticles. But Masticles wants to fight this back. And Jeff gets Banana. So this move is done. Banana wants to fight this back. Doesn't go down the inside of 5. So those soft tyres just starting to struggle on Banana's car now. So he'll be looking for a pit stop really shortly. As the fuel spread is a little bit more now. A bit of a pack forming around the bottom part of the 10. But we've got Huey out in front. The two Aston Martin 2nd and 3rd. And the two McLarens 4th and 5th. So we'll change it back to the tyres. Quick fastest lap, as I mentioned before, Dutchy. Only by half a tenth over Huey, but I reckon Huey's not exactly burning. He's comfortable in the pace he's got. So do these two swap positions again? No. Dada burning no ERS. He's got the full battery. So he's going to let his teammate work. And I reckon once those hards feel a lot better, they might switch again. As we just sort of scroll down the field a little bit. Masticles P11. So he'll be annoyed about that start lighting incident. But still a long race to go. Gibson, unfortunately, his ghost car falling further down the field. So Roscoe definitely the better pace at the moment on the hard tyres. So looking good. Problem is he's 6 seconds off the two Astons in front, so we may have our podium decided without safety car intervention. But still, really good result. A 5th last week. He'll be happy with the 4th. And just looking at Frezzo, he'd be annoyed with his spin because he was looking good up there in the top 3. So, we just see when these guys come in, will they think about a bit of an undercut? And I'll quickly jump down to Reshing. He'll get past the ghosted car of Jimson. Actually, not quite. Didn't get the exit out of 2 that he probably would have wanted. So the AI car hanging in there, but he'll get a bit of ERS usage and then get the line through there. So he moves up into 9th. Masticles will just about move up to P10. So, but Davis got a bit of a train behind him now. With Prezzo and Jeff. Banana now 2 seconds off, so he'd definitely want to come in here. Those tyres must be screaming. Masticles will get the ghosts. The job done to get the ghosted car, I'd imagine, around here. Brakes later. Taking a wider line than what the AI does. But he jumps into the top 10. Obviously still to serve that 5 second penalty. Prezzo. He'll try and get Davis on this straight. He saved up a bit of ERS. Davis is burning straight away. Will Prezzo burn? He is. Right on board with him. Not closing as much as he wants, and we do see Banana come in and pit. So obviously those tyres are long gone by now, so he's going to change onto the hard tyre and go to the end. But Prezzo wanting to get this move done, but didn't close as much as he would have wanted. I know Davis definitely burned a lot of battery down that straight. But Davis actually got back into Roscoe's DRS as well, so that's helped him in both ways. If he can stay in there, it'll help him defend. And is this a bit of a team game from Roscoe as well? Letting his McLaren teammate behind. Davis has got no ARS left. But Roscoe doing a good job, Dada. He's still sitting behind his teammate. No. Still saving battery. Will he think about his burning? So will he think about maybe switching these guys around again? Seems like he's got a bit more pace now that the mediums is just starting to be around that probably 40-50% now. But Huey, as I said, we haven't seen much of him, but he's done a brilliant job. As we got a yellow flag, that's clean break. He's at a moment at turn 9, and that is a complete front wing gone. So his race unfortunately goes bad to worse. So he'll come into the pit stop, probably chuck a set of hards on that car. He'll be able to go to the end from there. But I reckon he's about to. He'll be lapped by the time he comes out. Oh, and he has a bit of a wide moment just with no front downforce. I'll quickly jump onto Prezzo. Again, about that 3.5 mark. Problem is, with the car in front having DRS, not much you're going to do. Clean break. 5-second penalty spending in pit lane, so will we see a retirement from him? Hasn't given up the ghost just yet, so maybe he wasn't intending to speed. But Prezzo right on the back. Maybe think about a bit of an undercut, try to get some clear air. Because while this car is stuck behind his teammate, Prezzo won't be able to do a lot on board. 3:13 from the McLaren. I reckon the Haas only got to about 3:10. So Davis might be running a little bit less downforce. Prezzo not being able to. Oh, and Buster. What's happened to Buster? Oh, he's retired and he's left the session. So I'm wondering if he had a bit of damage, maybe some rear wing, and just struggled with that car. So unfortunate from Buster, but we'll see him next week. As more cars pass the Ghost, we've got a bit of a train here with the Red Bull and Ferrari of Lightning. As we've got another yellow, that's just Buster coming back on track. Zach leading this train. Sorry, Aussie leading this train, I should say. Lightning thinking about a move at 10. Zach running a little bit wider, but got the move covered. Riding on board with the Ferrari driver. We think about a move down at turn 1, but again, same issue. Both cars already has a bit of a moment, gets on the sausage curb, and that puts him around. So he will lose about 10 seconds of a gap, and then he's going to be super slow coming down this straight. So look for Steely. So yeah, Lightning having to burn all his ARS to get all the speed that he lost. Hits 318 down the front straight. Quickly jumping back up to Prezzo. Again, about 2.5 tenths behind, but not in a section that allows an easy overtake. Data just falling off the back a little bit. I figured those hard tyres would be the better tyre at this stage. Maybe a little bit of a mistake, or Dutch is trying to put the hammer down. He's closed the gap to Huey by about half a second. As Huey, he comes in, Dutchy's going to follow him in. So got to be careful of the pit lane line. They both manage it properly, so Data will go long. We'll go for another few laps and then chuck on the medium tyres and be rapid at the end. But so Roscoe, Davis and Prezzo all follow through. Same as Jeff. So Huey comes out. Can he get out ahead of the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri? He can, but he's got cold tyres, and you just saw the understeer that Dutch had out of the corner. Aussie's got a bit of a distance ahead of him, but you got to watch out for Huey as well. He's got to be super careful on these hard tyres. And Resching, he'll know coming out of those pits, opportunity to possibly make an overtake on the effective race leader. Not quite. Prezzo right behind him, just under 2/10 coming through 9, but Davis doing a really good job sticking with Roscoe. And I think Huey should be safe from the Haas, as we've got Clunky Boy having a moment at turn 3. So the issue with this is that Dutchy, he's found himself behind 2 medium runners, and he will want to hope that those 2 guys come into the pits this lap. The Ferrari is in and the AlphaTauri is in as well, so that actually works out nicely for Dutchy. Problem is, it was a 3-second gap at the start. I think he's just about lost that as we wait to see the time interval. Yeah, he's lost about half a second because of the traffic, but he did struggle around the first part of the lap, as we see a lot of the medium runners getting off those tyres now. Prezzo coming out. He'll be ahead of Steely and Twitch. Those 2 yet to stop. So at the moment, Huey, effective race leader. Top 4 yet to stop. They're going to go a little bit longer on the hard tyres. As we just see Jeff sitting behind. So Jeff's now moved into the Prezzo position. Sorry to hear that, Buster. Buster's just having a few screen freezes, so definitely one of the issues with Crossplay, so unfortunate that it was super affecting you. So hopefully next week can be better for you. Well, what's his battle? Jeff carrying a lot of speed through this turn 16. Surely he's going to go for a move on the McLaren. He's got no ERS. Davis has a bunch, which does help in the last part of the straight, but he does go a little bit deep into turn 1. Jeff wants to get a good exit through turn 2, just the dirty air, washing the car out just a little bit. So Davis getting the better exit through the later part of turn 3. So positions stay the exact same. So again, McLaren doing a perfect team game at the moment. As we've got Twitch and Steely. So Steely maybe a little bit of mistake. That allows Twitch through. As we'll go back up to this battle for the 2nd place. So DRS again for Jeff, but again, Davis will have a lot more ARS usage that will help him down the last part of the straight, that will keep him ahead. So currently 17 of 33, so we've effectively hit halfway. So Data, 11-second lead over Roscoe and Davis. He's in that battle for the top 3. Clean break sets a new fastest lap, but he's got a bit of traffic with the AlphaTauri. He's currently lapped now. Wouldn't have been the cleanest through turn 1. Might have put Data off a little bit, but Data effectively fighting for the top 3. Dutchy sets the fastest lap on those hard tyres. And we did see last week, Dutchy did find the 2nd stint. He had a fair bit of pace. Was a little bit quicker than Huey. So we'll see if he can get that gap down. 3.6 is still a bit of a gap compared to how consistent Huey's been. as we're looking for a little bit of a gap. Zach and Aussie side by side. These two yet to stop. So should see them in shortly. So about 7/10's coming out of turn 9. Just not quite. You know, a bit of DRS, but he's got no ARS. Aussie's got a little bit that he can defend with. Jumping back up to Jeff now, still stuck behind both McLarens. So Roscoe, he's made his move early. He wants it. He wants those medium tyres. He'll get a bit of an undercut on these guys. Jeff, again, he gets a nice exit out of the final corner, but Davis can just burn that last part. Dutchy sets another fastest lap of the race. So he's got pace, but looking at the fastest lap times, I bet there wouldn't be too much different. No, Huey, 20.4 to 20.2, so Dutchy can set fastest laps all he wants. But if Huey can at least match him or only be a couple of tenths down, that's all he needs. So, as we've got Roscoe and Prezzo fighting. So, Roscoe, obviously the mediums have to warm up, but they will be a lot better tyre. Prezzo will want to hold on to this position as much as he can. This will hurt Roscoe. Needs to make the move done as early as possible. ERS is even for both drivers. As Dada, he comes in. So we'll see where he comes out relative to the guys that made their stop. We'll watch this battle first. Top 3 are in. So Huey will take back the race lead. So looking at Data really quickly. Oh, does he jump his teammate? He does. Got to be careful with the exit though. Oh, very close. Oh, there's contact between the two Aston Martins. Not what you want. No Data's a reserve. I think whether Dutchy thought Data was going to be quicker through that corner, but that's hurt. That's cost them both time. And Roscoe has got past Prezzo. Now Prezzo, he's got a fight on his hand to keep both Davis and Jeff behind on the medium tyre. I think Prezzo thought, unfortunately with that spin, he's back in this battle pack. And this will be effectively for 4th place. But Roscoe managed to get the move done as we were watching the contact between the two Aston Martins. So, Dada just trying to find his rhythm again. Dutchy hopefully doesn't have a bit of front wing damage, but unfortunately just cost him a lot of time. And I don't know if they can close that gap. But Roscoe now leading the train. So Davis and Jeff, they'll try and warm up. They don't need to rush to warm up these mediums. But they want to hope that Roscoe breaks Prezzo's DRS so then Davis can have a good move on the Haas driver. So we'll see how Prezzo can go. So we've got 2 drivers left to stop. Aussie in 4th and Steely in 9th. So they may go super long, maybe hope for a safety car. And we've got the Haas of clean break. As we'll quickly show, Banana and Reshing. Banana gets the move done on the Ferrari driver. So nice move then. He's back into the 10. He'll move up 2 spots when the last couple of drivers come in. Clean break has recovered the car and has kept moving. As Data and Dutchy, Data has gotten back past. So it didn't seem like there was as much of a fight that time. So now Data, can he close the 6-second gap that he has to find? And if he does close it, will he have the tyres left to fight? Data's got a lot of ERS. He's burning straight away. Data, he does set the fastest lap of the race in 19.4 as clean break. He's unfortunately had a bit of a shocking race by his standards, but he'll come back stronger next week. As Aussie is in, so about half-second gap between these guys. So Roscoe takes back 4th spot. About 11 seconds down on the podium spot, so he needs something to happen at the front. Just get on that podium places. But Jeff right behind Davis. Jeff's looking to have a bit more pace on these tyres at the moment. So Davis just struggling on that. Jeff just hurrying the McLaren through. Problem is, he's going to have the same issue that he had before the pit stops. As the DRS is operating, but not quite. But Prezzo doing a good job to hang into Roscoe's DRS. And as soon as these mediums start to go, he may be able to capitalise in the final few laps. But Dada, he's actually got the gap down and closed it by a second. So this isn't over yet. Oh, Davis dropped out of a second. And he doesn't have DRS. Oh, this would have been the one time Jeff could have burned, but he chooses not to. Decides to sit behind. Maybe that should have been the time he had a go, but not quite. Looking quickly down to Zach and Resching. Zach with DRS gets the move done he's now into the 10 on the 4 lap old medium tyres. So he can get a few positions from here. Remember, Steely has yet to stop, but Banana is on 12 lap old hards. So he went soft at the start. He got a lot of places, but now that's hurting him, being that he's going to be on the hards for so long. And I think Zach will find this to be fairly easy work. But back to the battle for 4th. Jeff just moving to the inside, but nothing will be done there. Dada, he's now under 4 seconds. He's closing that gap massively. He's burning the ERS that he was saving. Huey's saving, he's not burning. He knows that he's going to need it at the end. Roscoe, Prezzo, Davis, Jeff, they're fighting for 4th. Jeff again getting a nice exit out of turn 16, the final corner, but again, just the straight line speed of Davis. And Davis is actually saving ERS again. So he's not going to be an easy man to pass. But it's close between this battle pack, as Steely, he makes his pit stop, and he's now the final man to make his pit stop. So we are all good. Steely, he's coming for the soft tyres. 11 laps. It's going to be a bit of a stretch to do that. We'll see how he goes. Might be a bad, not be a bad call, I should say. Rushing behind Zach, but Zach stuck up behind Banana. Again, you look at Jeff, 2/10 behind, but again, nothing can do. Dada, I think, had maybe a little bit of a moment. It was closer to 3 seconds, but again, he took half a second out. So he's still closing the gap, but the medium tyre advantage that he would have had, they won't be there that much longer, and they'll be deteriorating. And doesn't want to take out too much before he gets there. Does take 3/10 out in the first part of the lap. Again, Roscoe leading this pack. So you got 2 battle packs at the moment, the battle for 4th and the battle for 8th. Quickly switch back to Zach. He's gone the inside. Bernardo will try and do the switch back, but Resching will also try and capitalise. Bernardo, does he still have the grip? Zach's burning. He hasn't got any ERS. Banana thinks about the inside, up at 4. Had to take a little bit of the grass, which may hurt him, but he's still got the inside line. Zach has to defend. Bit of contact. Banana goes super wide. That's got to allow the Ferrari through. So Zach P8, Racing P9, Banana P10. Banana won't be too happy about that, but it's hard on the outside line there. So Racing, he's now going to be the man to still try and get past Zach for P8. As we look through the halo, he sees his target. So it'll be a good drive for the reserve driver if he can nail that P8 spot. But now Aussie, on the freshest tyres of them all, he's hurrying Banana through the final corner, but he has a bit of a snap. So he manages to keep it straight, but he's lost a lot of time. He will have DRS to sort of capitalise back some of that speed, as Zach just has no ERS. Will the Ferrari send it down the inside? He doesn't. But he knows that Zach has got no ERS. Just has to bide his time. There's no DRS current that Zach will have, so try and line it up the next corner. Jeff's still 2/10 behind at this part of the circuit, which he can't do anything. But quick back at the front, 2.5 seconds now. And there's still 7 laps to go. He can see the Alfa Romeo there. But all the while, those tyres are just getting more and more wear. Dutchy just has no pace, obviously, on the harder compounded tyre. So I think he'd pretty much settle for P3. May have a cloud over his head, possibly, with the incident. But again, he's got a decent gap to the guys behind. So I'm wondering if Dutchy does have maybe a little bit of wing damage hitting him off. Hopefully not. His wing looks alright. Just saving a bit of ERS. Maybe thinking about a possible safety car towards the end if we do happen to get one. But it's been fairly clean. Oh! And Data, just what he didn't want. 3-second time penalty. The first 3 seconds of the race. So all hopes of a battle for the win all out the window. Now Huey, he would have just seen that, so now he can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. But all he needs to do is hold up Dada if he does reach him. And then if he does get past, just stick within DRS. So Huey just needs to keep it clean now. And he should have this win in the bag. But this pack of 4 still going at it. Still no change at the moment. As Zach has managed to break the Ferrari of Racing. And Aussie, he's moving around. He wants to get past. He sees a good top 10 result if he get past these 2 in front. But Banana, he'll be looking on the attack because the Ferrari in front won't have DRS. There's a gap at the front, under 2 seconds now. Not the greatest exit by Banana, just on those old hards. Can Aussie make a move? Banana just covering the inside. Aussie, does he extend it? He does. A little bit of contact. Got to be careful of riding the curb. That sort of sends Banana off track, so Banana won't be happy about that. Banana drops to 11, Aussie 10. So the move was on the inside, but a little bit of contact forced Banana wide. So that's get Aussie into the 10, but he does not have DRS just. He's going to use those newer tyres to get back in there. So Zach just having not been able to break Racing from behind. In DRS at the moment, but Zach should have the better grip coming through 10, 11, and 12. But then again, those mediums are now 9 laps, so I won't be feeling the best. Jeff still can't do much about it. Just at the back of this train. Just doesn't quite have the straight line speed, and the DRS from the guys in front just can't make a move. But all these good drivers driving really well, not making any mistakes for the car behind to capitalise. I say that, Prezzo goes a little bit wider than what he wants, but he'll still be right. As we got Masticles and Lightning. Oh, Lightning, he's off at turn 2. Was it? I know he was near Masticles. Was there a little bit of contact? He's back on track now. Aussie right behind. Reshing for P9. Well, probably not the best line through 7 and 8. We might have been thinking about a move up at 10 here, but just lost a little bit of pace. And Reshing still trying to just claw his way into that DRS to help him defend from behind. Yellow flag. That Steely, he's had a spin. I think he's kept it out of the wall. Yeah, it looks like his wing is intact, which is good. Obviously, on those soft tyres, hasn't been able to get the best out of them. Huey, currently a 1 second lead. Dada nearly within DRS, but that 3 second penalty's hurt him and he's now got no ERS. He's burned it to try and get in there. But he's only got just under 3.5 laps to go, and I don't think he'll be able to get the 3 second gap that he needs. Dutchy a long way back now, 13 seconds. Not quite the pace on the hards, and then Roscoe's actually closed in by a couple of seconds. But he's leading the 3 guys behind him. But if it stays as is, Aston Martin and McLaren scoring big points today. Ooh, Prezzo just running a little bit wider there. I reckon nearly had nearly all 4 wheels off track. As Aussie want to try and steal, get past the Ferrari, takes a better line through there. That's going to force the Ferrari a little bit to the inside. Aussie get the better line through here, not quite. Needs to focus on his exit out of the chicane. We saw him hit the sausage curb a little bit, that unsettled the car a few laps ago. He gets a nicer run, problem is, so actually he didn't get DRS, rushing out a poor final sector as Aussie gets the move done. He's up into P9, so now he'll want to chase down Zach for that P8 spot. So he'll be able to do that. He's just got to get back. He has burnt all of it, but he should be able to hold off rushing on those 15 lap old hards now. But I'll switch to the battle at the front. Say Dada, he's going to have DRS this lap. He's got DRS. First time down this main straight. Both men are flashing. He'll close in. I'm thinking with 2 laps to go, will he just maybe just sit behind him instead? He knows that the wind's gone with that penalty. Maybe pressure you into a mistake. But these guys, Lightning, he picks up the second 3-second time penalty. Won't affect him too much in the standings with Steely 17 seconds behind him. Prezzo, those hards are starting to come back now. So will we have something on the last lap? Roscoe will have to think about defending. Yeah, Prezzo's looking a lot better. He's saved a bit of ERS. Roscoe hasn't got a lot left. So this will make this final lap interesting. Prezzo's just got to try and get through this second half of the lap as close as he can for a move down at turn 1 on the final lap. Right on board with the Haas driver. And we'll stay on board, man. This is the closest battle. Aussie. Twitch, I think, has gone around. Unfortunately, he was in 13th. He'll have time to recover. Hopefully, he hasn't hit the wall. Prezzo needs to get the good drive out of here. Oh, he has a bit of a wiggle. Gresham gets a 3-second time penalty, so he won't be moving up the guys in front. But Prezzo's going to burn all his ERS. Does Roscoe have the straight line? Prezzo thinking about the inside line. Will he try and carry it around the outside? He does stick the nose up in there. Will Prezzo get the line through here? Watch the other McLaren of Davis. Davis has got a lot more ERS, so will Davis pinch it off his teammate at the line? He can't quite do it. As Aussie gets past G-Sport Zach, Jeff has a moment. So the McLarens nearly had a switch around, but Prezzo, the tyres came back at the end and he got the move done. He had a bit of ERS, Roscoe had none. But what about Davis? Will he use all his ERS, think about a move at turn 10? It is his teammate, so he won't do anything too drastic. Not quite, but I'll quickly switch back up to the leader because Huey missed out last week, but he wins the second round at Spain. Dada finishes right behind him, but with the 3-second penalty, was never really in the fight towards the end, but a brilliant P2 for the reserve. Dutchy, quite a long way back. He just brought it home, but that's another podium for him. So P3. Oh, Davis has had a spin out of the chicane. So he's lost P5. He's only going to drop one spot. But he'd be annoyed about that spin. 5th and 6th would have been really good for McLaren. Zach, I think Aussie left. He did, unfortunately. So Aussie does lose P8, but he did finish over 90% of the race. So he'll still be classified in P9. But Huey, after the strategy call didn't go his way. Oh, Lightning retires. Where did he retire? He retired just before the line. So that's no points for the Ferrari driver. Super annoying as well. He would have scored about 3 or 4 points. So Twitchily, he'll move up. Steely will move up into 15th. Oh, sorry, 14th, I should say. So he bags a couple of points. So a bit of a struggle for 1 Alfa Romeo. Aussie gets driver of the day, again fighting from the back. He's done that 2 races in a row. You'd want to hope next week that he can get a better qualifying position so he can fight right up, because we can see he's got the pace. But Huey missing out last time. He gets the job done this time at Spain and looked fairly confident doing it. But both Aston Martins on the podium as well. Brilliant drives from both of them. The one mistake was the little bit of contact at turn 3. They sorted themselves out. Dada finishes P2. And Dutchy, after the win last week, he drops into P3. And looking at the results now, as we said, Huey, it was close at the end, but Dada with that 3-second time penalty probably didn't fight as hard for an overtake on that last lap, because he knew he wouldn't be able to gap him. Dutchy, P3. Prezzo, after that spin early, was stuck in that train with Roscoe, Jeff and Davis for all of that second stint, but saved his tyres, a bit of ERS, and got the move done on Roscoe on the final lap. A nice move around the outside at 1. Roscoe, brilliant P5, so that's 2 fifths in a row for him. Jeff P6, Davis, unfortunately, with that spin out of the chicane, dropped him a spot, but still a top 7. G-Force, Aussie, Reshing finishing in the 10. Banana, Masticles, Twitchility, Stilly, Lightning, Jimson, Clunky Boy, Clean Break, Buster, and Sean. So there was 3 DNFs in that one. But definitely an interesting race there. Huey, again, showing his speed. So he's had 2 pole positions. He's had a win. He could have easily had 2 with the issues that he had last week, just with the wrong strategy call. But he's definitely the man to watch in the early part of this season. So great to see from those guys. Unfortunately, just with the crossplay, probably won't be able to hear from the top 3. However, with the Discord coming to PlayStation shortly, fingers crossed we can get these guys in, because we do want to hear from them. especially guys that will have a few wins and a few podiums. Want to share how they're feeling, but nonetheless, it was a brilliant drive from the top three. So next round at Race Spec, we have, as I bring up the calendar beside me, it is Portugal. So it's a love-or-hate relationship with some of these drivers around Portugal. It's fairly similar to Spain, the long front straight, tricky corners throughout. I definitely know turn 4 and turn 8 around Portugal can be very, very tough. The elevation changes, trying to get the traction out of the corners. Definitely one spot, definitely a couple of spots to look out for, but that's going to be exciting to watch next week. So that will pretty much wrap it up. Huey gets his first win of Tier 2. Brilliant job from him. Both Aston Martins rounding out the podium. McLaren, double top 10 points positions for those guys. So, brilliant job from them. So, as always, I've been Scotty, and we'll see you next Tuesday for round 3 at Portugal. So until then, bye for now.